by reason of this great multitude. See, he knew. God pinpointed it exactly what was about to happen. He knew they were moving in. He knew that Moab, Mount Seir, and all these other great nations were coming. They were moving in, amen, with their battering rams and so on and so forth. But God said, don't be afraid by the reason of this great multitude. And here's what he said, for the battle is not yours, but it's God's. What do you mean, Lord? It's not my battle. I'm in the midst of it. Lord, you really don't understand what I'm facing. So many times we feel like that God has shoved everything upon us and our shoulders, and we must carry it all. And church, don't get me wrong. I believe God will try us. I believe God will test us to see what we're made out of. But we need to understand that if we're serving God, if we're walking with Him in the beauty of holiness, if we're doing the will of God, then that battle that we're facing, God is going to help us. Can you find any place in this book where God has let anybody down? Can you find in this book where the battle was on that God walked away? Can you find anywhere in this book where God went on a journey when somebody was coming against a battle? You cannot find it, because God has been there and He will be there. And may I add tonight, He will be there in the midst of our calamities. So be not afraid, nor be dismayed, for the reason of this great multitude. For the battle is not yours, it's God's. He said, in fact, I got a little bit more information I want to tell you about. He said, tomorrow, go down against them. Behold, they're coming up by the cliff of Ziz. There was a place called Ziz. There was a cliff there, steep embankment, a place called Ziz. They're going to be hanging out there waiting on you. God said, I'm going to tell you exactly where they're at. Go over there where they're at and just stand there. He said, they're over by the cliff called Ziz, and you shall find them at the end of the brook before the wilderness of Jeruel. He said, you shall not need to fight. Now, Lord, something ain't right here in this. Something doesn't tally out. Something is not right. You mean we're going to be in a battle and we're not going to fight? That's what God said. God said the battle is not yours. Amen. Why? Because God supernaturally was going to show them His great power and His strength. All they needed to do is have faith in God. Church, listen to me tonight. I know things look dark at times. I know there's times in our life it looks like that there is no way out. It looks like that we're outnumbered. It looks like that maybe God has forgotten us for a moment of time, but really He hasn't. But all we need to do is just be steadfast, unmovable in our faith.